Good day, Rancho Verde. It's Mr. Langston. I'm here to help you with another day of math. So, what I've got right here is your warm up that you have to do, or that you should have done, because I'm posting this after the class. So, we have 2 plus 6 times 2 plus 2 minus 4 times 2. Okay? What we have to do, of course, as you guys should know, is write your order of operations, PEMDAS. And remember, I write it like this because multiplication and division are taken at the same time. It's the first one you see from left to right. So, first thing we do is inside the parentheses. And when we do the inside of the parentheses, we do PEMDAS again. So I'm going to write my order of operations, and I'm going to label it for inside the parentheses. So I've got, let me see, no parentheses inside the parentheses. I have no exponents. Let's look for multiplication or division. Multiplication or division. So I've got 6 times 2. That's 12. And you know what? I'm going to do this in another color so you can see it. So that's 12. And I'm going to rewrite everything. So 2 plus 2 minus 4 times 2. So I've got that. I don't have any more multiplication or division. And now I'm going to do addition and subtraction. I got plenty of that. So first one I see from left to right inside the parentheses, right there, 2 plus 12. That becomes 14. Plus 2 minus 4. And it's all times 2. Still still addition and subtraction. 14 plus 2. And that becomes, in this case, 16 minus 4 times 2. Well, that's equal to, I still simplify, 16 minus 4, 12 times 2. And I think you guys can figure that part out, 24. Now for this one, I'm going to write my order of operations again. MDAS. And I'm going to do inside the parentheses. So I got 66 minus 6. Well, that is 60. And now rewrite the rest. Divide by 15 plus 5 squared. Done with parentheses. Nothing I can simplify inside. 60, 60. So let's do exponents. And exponent right here becomes, and I'll do it in red, 25. And I'll rewrite everything. So I got 60 divided by 15 plus, and I'll just bring this down here. 25. So done with the exponents. Now I'm going to do multiplication or division. So I see division. First one I see, division. 60 divided by 15, 4. Plus 25, and that equals 29. So today what we're doing is we're going to be solving linear functions. So it's a prerequisite skill, solving linear functions. You guys are going to persevere, which basically means you're going to see it to the end. So see it to the end. Okay, you guys are going to last. Students will be able to communicate with each other and articulate how you solve linear equations with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So, without further ado, pardon me, you got x plus 4 equals negative 8, x minus 11 equals negative 5, and 2 plus x equals 1. I'm going to be solving these. But before I solve these, I want to teach you something. Okay, it's called inverse operation. Now, an inverse operation is a fancy way of saying opposite operation. So, for instance, if I have addition, the inverse operation of addition is subtraction. If I have multiplication, the inverse operation of multiplication is division. And it also goes back. So subtraction, the inverse operation is addition. If I have division, the inverse operation is multiplication. So it goes backwards and forwards. And that is what we are going to do to solve these linear equations. These are one-step linear equations. They're one-step linear equations. Okay, and I don't know why I said functions. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a function. Okay, so sorry, functions was on my mind for whatever reason. We'll talk about functions later. So solving one-step linear equations. So I've got x plus 4. All you need to do is figure out what operation is going on with x, and then just find the inverse operation and do that. For instance, I've got plus 4. So x, I'm adding 4 to it. So the inverse operation of adding 4 is going to be subtracting 4. And so we're going to do that to both sides. Subtract 4 from both sides. This cancels out. We're going to be left with x equals -8 minus 4. I owe $8, and I also owe $4. So in total, I owe $12. What's happening with x here? Well, I'm subtracting, in this one, I'm subtracting 11. So the inverse operation of subtracting 11 is adding 11. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. And that's going to cancel this out. So I'll be left with x equals, well, I got -5 plus 11. I owe $5, but I have $11. So at the end of the transaction, I'll still have $6 in my pocket. So it's a positive 6. And lastly, we have on the right-hand side, I've got 2 plus x. Okay, so this is addition that I have. This, I can rewrite it. If I really want, it doesn't bother me. I can rewrite it. I can write it as x plus 2 equals 1. Now you see there's addition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the inverse operation, which is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And that's going to give me, cancels out, x equals, I have $1, but I owe $2. At the end of the transaction, I still owe $1. So that's basically it with inverse operations involving addition and subtraction, solving one-step linear equations. It's pretty simple, not too bad. You guys can handle it. You guys are smart. So what I want you to do is with your partner, you're going to talk about how you would solve linear equations that involve addition or subtraction. You're going to go to your Haiku Learning webpage and you're going to type it in using your own words on how you would solve linear equations involving addition and subtraction. And if you need help starting with what you're going to say, I've got it right there. I got a little sentence frame and it says, I will solve linear equations involving addition and subtraction by, and then you're going to fill in the rest. So what I want you to do now is we're going to go to multiplication and division. So solving one-step linear equations with multiplication and division. So I've got 4x equals -12. And again, we're still going to use the word inverse operation. That's a really ugly O. I'm going to clean that up. Inverse operation. So what I need to do is I need to find out what's going on between x and 4. Well, that's multiplication. So I'm going to take and I'm going to divide both sides by whatever I'm multiplying with. So in this case, I'm multiplying by 4, so I divide both sides by 4. And then that means these 4s cancel out. I made a mistake. I put a minus sign on that side. Let's get rid of that. So I've got x equals -12 divided by 4, -3. And again, I look here. What's happening between the x and 16? That's multiplication. So the inverse operation of multiplying by 16 is going to be, again, dividing by 16. So divide by 16, not 4. Don't know what I'm thinking. Divide by 16, divide by 16. And then that means this 16 and this 16 are going to cancel out. So I'm left with x equals 12 over 16. Now I can simplify this. Let's reduce the fraction. What number is 12 and 16 both divisible by? Well, they're both divisible by 2, but they're also both divisible by 4. And so what I want is I want the greatest common factor. So they're both divisible by 2 and 4. But the greatest common factor, the largest one, is 4. So I'm not going to divide both sides by 2. I'm going to divide both top and bottom by 4. So divide by 4, divide by 4. And when I divide the top by 4, the numerator by 4, I get the value of 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And when I divide the denominator by 4, I'm going to get the value of 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So in this case, my answer is x equals 3/4. Now lastly, solving this one on the right here. I have x divided by 4 equals -2. So between this x and 4, it's division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. These 4s on the left, they're going to cancel out. So I'm just left with x. And now I'm going to do -2 times 4. -2 times 4, I hope you realize, is -8. And there you go. So again, with your partner, you're going to talk about how you solve linear equations that involve multiplication or division. And you're going to go to your Haiku Learning webpage and you're going to type it in using your own words on how you would solve linear equations involving multiplication or division. And if you need help starting what you're going to say, you can use my sentence frame, and it is, I will solve linear equations involving multiplication or division by ... So go ahead and do that, and I think that's the end of our notes. It was a really quick lesson today. Yep, that's the end of our notes, so I hope you guys have a great day. You do have homework, so do your homework. And I will see you guys the next day we get back, which in this case is going to be Monday. So hope your weekend's going great. I'll see you soon. Bye. And of course, I'll give you my obligatory peace. Bye.